Suggestion about Tecnau. We are a family-owned company headquartered in Ivrea in the north of Italy, and basically what we do is we offer solutions around digital print. So there's a huge big printer in the middle. We don't do that. We do all the machines before the printer and the machines after the printer. And our goal is actually not to make machines that bring down the cost or make you more efficient or make you go faster or do things cheaper. Actually, what we try to do is to bring something extra to digital print. And therefore also our tagline, empowering digital print. So we want to do more with all the capabilities that digital print offer you today. And some of the solutions you will see later on in my presentations, like for instance on the right, this is a book block making line. So the end product there is a unique book block for really being able to print book of one. And this line is worldwide unique in its flexibility and the capability of run different book sizes randomly through each other. The solution on the left is also another example of how we try to empower digital print, how we try to bring new things to the market. This is a roll changing module. So if you print from a roll is empty, you need to change the roll, it costs you 4 or 5 minutes. This machine does that automatically on the fly without stopping the printer. Now that as such is not really new. There are other solutions like that on the market. What is new with this solution is that it can actually hold 2 different media types, and you can change from one media to the other on the fly in the middle of your print job. I will come back a little bit later on. I'll skip that. So about Tecnau, we offer solutions in a wide range of different market segments. We come traditionally from the transactional print market, from the banks, the insurance companies, the governments, tax authorizations, things like that. That market is still interesting, still important for us today. We have a lot of customers in there. However, it's not the really growing market. It's actually a little bit saturated market, and it's not where we expect the growth in the coming few years. Really where the growth is in graphic arts. And within graphic arts there's a couple of segments that already today show a huge growth rate. For instance, book printing, and also the photo segment offered some interesting possibilities. So that's where we're focusing on. Within Tecnau, as I mentioned, we are a family-owned company headquartered in Ivrea in Italy. We have about 230 people all over the world. We're quite internationally organized, to be honest. So we have 3 different production facilities, one in Italy, one in the south of Sweden in Ljungby, and another facility in Billerica just outside of Boston, US. Out of the 230 people, there's about 55 people that are on a daily basis involved in product development and engineering. And that is a relatively high number for a company of our size. And that comes also back to a little bit to the engineering background within Tecnau. So we like to develop new things, so we are able also to make customized things or unique bespoke solutions for certain customer applications. Over that, we are worldwide supported by a distributor network. We have our own technical service people around the world for 3rd level service support. In some countries we work direct, like for instance in the US we have our own sales force, whereas in other countries we work either through a distributor or in very close relationship with the printer partner. Looking at solutions in the different market segments, obviously in transactional print it's relatively straightforward, a lot of roll-to-roll solutions, roll-to-fan fold, roll-to-cut stack. One of the real strengths of Tecnau is our dynamic perforating and dynamic punching solution. So based on reading a mark, we make a certain perforation in the web or a certain punch pattern in the web. Tecnau invented this many years ago, and still today we are by far leading that market with our solutions there. In graphic arts it's a very wide range of solutions we offer. Some certain book solutions around what we call the Libra family of products, but we also have some very unique solutions around photo, around calendar, postal cards and things like that. One of the key things within, let's say overall our product lines is the high level of automation and flexibility within the equipment. So being able to adjust or to cut different sizes or stack different sizes or fold different sizes on the fly without having to reset the machine or without having an operator on the machine. All of these products are, let's say, guided or guarded by two other things. One is the Web Vision camera control system, which is a unit that can be placed in any line, looking at the complete web, at every single page in the web, and doing a lot of different inspections on the web, front and back side, looks at color, looks at positioning, it can check whether the perforation has been done correctly, it can look at the registering, all sorts of things depending on the software level that you have. The machine comes in an expect version, meaning as a separate standalone unit that can be placed in any line basically, or as an inspect version where actually we build it inside the inkjet printers, assuming there's space for them. And there's an on-spec version where we basically take the cameras and build it on one of our existing machines. The other solution is the TechNow Connect, which is basically a tool that collects a lot of data on your production, for instance based on reading data matrix or barcodes. It collects that and analyzes that and can report it also later on. It also offers you a central point of operation, especially when the lines become very, very long and very complex with a lot of different modules in there, sometimes not even from one vendor, but a mix of different companies building a line together. And this allows an operator to have an overview of what's happening in the line. As mentioned before, we have a huge variety of different products and machines around there. I will not go through all of them. If you are interested, we have a little stand in the middle here in the room, so feel free to come over and later on and ask some questions. I'll just focus on a few of the newer things or the more common things. Last year we introduced a new series of unwind rewind products called the U9 R9s. Here you see a picture in combination with a Xerox driver. The U9 R9 are slightly heavier built, have a bigger diameter in rolls, can handle also a little bit heavier and bigger rolls, but the main difference here is that the machines are tight web units, as most of the new printers that come out today are basically requiring a tight web, a certain web tension, which also makes the machine easier to use. Some of the things that are changed is also the fact that we support with these machines a much wider media range. So we go from 40 GSM all the way up to about 300 GSM paper. And this is all settable by the operator through the display. So no mechanical changes needed anymore. As mentioned before, the Splice is a really unique solution. Initially, basically, if you look at let's say an average printer today running about 130, 150 meters a minute, if you take an average roll size of 1.20 meters, it will take you about 90 to 100 meters to run that roll. Then if you have a trained engineer, or trained operator I should say, it takes him about 4 or 5 minutes maybe to change the roll. If he's there, and if the roll is prepared, and if he doesn't have something else to do at that moment. The reality learns that the operator is busy on another line, or the roll is not ready, or he's just having a coffee break, and in reality the printer stands still for about 10 to 15 minutes. By having an automatic roll changer, the printer keeps printing. The roll is changed automatically on the fly by just cutting the web, adding the other web to the original web, by having a little bit of glue in between, and we put the two webs on top of each other. So we don't really actually splice it, but we glue the two webs to each other. This all happens on the fly, no stoppers needed, and basically you win between 10-15 minutes every 90 minutes. So overall a productivity increase of about 10-15%. Now that's nice as such, but we think a little bit further and a little bit outside of the box, or the roll in this case, and we make this possible to have two different media types. So for instance, roll A is a white paper, 80 GSM, and roll B is a yellowish paper, 110 GSM. Now based on a signal from the printer, in the middle of the job, we can actually say, splice, we change from roll A to roll B, and suddenly the printer is printing with a different media type. Until it's finished, the job is done, the printer tells us again to change back, and we go back, splice again, and now we're running with roll A again. On the fly, without stopping, we go back and forth, back and forth. This is truly unique in the world. No other solution out there can do this today. Perforating and punching, on the left you see some examples. This can now be done on the fly just by reading a data matrix. As mentioned, Tecnau is one of the leaders in that market. We invented the dynamic perforators years ago. Today we offer two series, the 1550 series, which is now the HS, meaning high speed, so supporting speeds all the way up to about 240 meters a minute, as well as the 8000 series. A whole range of different machines in there with also field upgradable possibilities. So a lot of different possibilities are available when it comes to dynamic perforating and dynamic punching. And this was all based on web printing, on continuous feed printers. We have now also taken that technology, and I will come back to that later on at the end of my presentation, and we have moved that into the cut sheet arena. So we can also support dynamic perforating and punching in combination with cut sheet printers. Sheeted output going from roll to the printer and then cutting and stacking and delivering different stacks. What we have recently announced is the 566 wide, which basically means we now support a 22-inch web width, 560 millimeters. As more and more of the new printers that are coming out actually support the same web width, and it allows you to print certain book sizes or job sizes in either 3-up or possibly even in 4-up. So that's quite new. Still today, the 2320 is let's say, the most common, the most popular roll-to-cut stack line. It offers rotative technology, so cutting technology, but there's two rotative cutting knives in the machine, which then allows you to make a strip cut. So you can actually cut away a certain programmable strip size, which is then going into the waste extraction unit. Supports 1-up, 2-up, 3-ups, all the things, automatic size change on the fly. So that's still there. Some of the newer things is more related to the stacking. A new solution that was brought to the market about 2 years ago now is the high capacity stacker, which is an extra unit which is placed after the existing cutter stacker. It allows you to not only cut and stack long sheets, but also to cut and stack them on a very high pile. So you're stacking the long sheets directly onto a trolley or a pallet. And when the pallet is full, the operator can take the complete pallet out and drive it up to the next finishing machine. Again, without stopping the printer, so we keep the printer running. This is a very efficient and productive way of working, and also very recognizable for many of the customers coming from the offset arena, because this is very similar to what today they're doing with their offset printers. Another really new technology is our soft touch gripper technology, which is now implemented in the S25 stacker. Previously, all the stackers were using a lot of different belts. Basically, the belts touching the paper and moving the paper forward into the stacker. What we have done now in the new stacker S25 is get rid of all the belts, and basically using small grippers that we grab the end, really the edge of the paper, very gently, and pull it forward until the stopping plate in the stacker, and then we release it again. So basically we're not touching the paper anymore, or more important, we're not touching the print. So this is very, very crucial for those customers or those applications that require a very, very high ink coverage, or very sensitive, high quality prints and high quality or very sensitive papers, like the really machine-coated media that is more popular now also on inkjet printers. So really revolutionary technology. Most of our feeders also allow for a bypass, meaning you can either choose to go into the stacker, or you can choose to go through the stacker and go in some sort of online finishing, which can be a machine from Tecnau. It can also be a partnering machine, like an IBIS or an Horizon or an MB folder, or any other machine that you want to connect after the cut. I mentioned earlier a little bit the photo or the photo book area. We have a couple of solutions. One is the Page Ready, which basically takes a B3 sheet and cuts it down into smaller sheets. This is a very popular solution in the photo book arena, where within one stack you have a lot of different sizes of books, and it basically, by reading a barcode, automatically changes the sizes on the fly without any operator intervention. Very similar solution is the cut ready or the photo ready. In this case, not starting from a sheet, but starting from a roll, so a web-fed solution. But again, on the fly, changes the different sizes. And for instance, in the photo print arena, it allows you to print customer by customer by customer. So 3, 4, 5 different sizes ordered by one customer. You can print in one run, and it comes out immediately in the same run. So no collection needed anymore. I skip 2 or 3 slides, no problem. One of the biggest segments today for us, and we are quite successful also in that area, is digital book printing. And digital book printing can be done in many, many different ways. There's many ways to really produce a book, and every customer we have basically does it slightly different. And every customer we have tells us that he is doing it in the best way. We believe them, and we support a lot of different ways. What is really unique in the book printing area is that customers nowadays still are batching a lot. So imagine you order 4 books on Amazon, 4 different sizes, 4 different thicknesses. All those thousands of orders are entering at Amazon and then are being batched based on pretty much size. And then after they have been printed in different jobs, they need to be collected. So your 4 books come from 4 different sites and need to be collected and then shipped out. What our solutions nowadays offer is the ability to produce order by order, or publisher by publisher, or address by address. So we don't care in what sequence you print, because we can handle all different sizes on the fly. So the Libra One book block maker supports different book sizes, different book thicknesses, 2-up and 3-up in positioning on the web, and on top of that, no white sheets at the back end of your book by having a variable amount of pages per signature. Really true, unique. The output of this line is in the end an unfinished, pre-glued book block, as you can see on the pictures on the right. So that book block still would have to go into a binder, and cover needs to be added. We can take it one step further, then we come to our Libra 800. And that is a worldwide unique, fully integrated book line. Basically starting from a roll, and the end product is a finished softcover glued book. Any single book can be different in size, in cover, in thickness, in number of pages. We don't care, the machine doesn't slow down if you have different sizes. 800 books per hour, it just runs through. All based on datamatics or barcode reading, fully integrated. There's different ways to configure the machine, as you can see on those pictures. We have most of the lines running from roll, but also we have one solution now starting from actually B2 input sheets with 2 different input channels and 2 different cover channels. So again, you can print in any order, in any size, in any thickness, and out comes a variable, fully finished book. Last, but certainly not least, before I let you go and walk around to this wonderful exhibition, some new solutions that we are recently launching for the cut sheet arena. Specifically, as you can see on this picture, we have now a whole line of finishing, dynamic perforating, dynamic punching, dynamic cutting and stacking, all in line with, for instance, as you can see here, the Canon i300 cut sheet inkjet device. A new line of products. We take the technology that we already have and that we have a lot of experience with, like dynamic perforating, but we've now taken it to the cut sheet arena. So it supports a very wide range of different applications, as you can see here. The dynamic punching can be done by different cartridges. So you can have a 2-hole or a 4-hole punch, but you can also use it for instance, calendars or wire-o finished work. You can actually, as an operator, change those cartridges yourself. So one and the same machine can do different punching applications. It's very modular, meaning you don't need to have all machines in one row. You can have only the cutter and the stacker, or only the dynamic perforator, or only the perfor, or make different combinations of them. And very soon we will also come out with the same solution, but on an offline situation. So starting from a sheet feeder, so not directly connected to any printing device. And this allows you as a customer basically to take output from different printers combine it and run it through one finishing line at a slightly higher speed than if you would run online. That finalizes my presentation. Morten.